This is possibly the most requested on Tech YouTube in India right now. It's finally here, the Xiaomi 11T Pro and OnePlus 9RT comparison video that you've been waiting for. My name is Arshad, you're watching Tracking Tech English, let's go. To start off, I want to call out Xiaomi for wrongly marketing the charging speeds of the 11T Pro. Yes, it bundles a 120 watt charger inside the box, but it takes way more than 17 minutes to charge the 5000 mAh battery from 1% to 100% like Xiaomi claims. Every single time I tried to fully charge the phone, it took me anywhere between 31 to 35 minutes. In fact, it takes only 29 minutes to charge the OnePlus 9RT from 0 to 100 using its 65 watt charger. To be honest, the 120 watt hypercharge speeds that Xiaomi promotes doesn't really make a huge difference in real world performance. That said, the 11T Pro's battery life has been great in my testing period. I got anywhere between 5 hours and 30 minutes and 7 hours of screen on time, which is more than a day's worth of usage. And I believe it is better than the OnePlus 9RT. I believe the 11T Pro lasts slightly longer than the OnePlus 9RT in daily usage. And you know what? I will wait forever and for always for you to hit that red subscribe button because it motivates me to make cool tech videos for you guys. Now both the 11T Pro and the 9RT have a Snapdragon 888 SoC inside, and we have the 12GB 256GB variant of both the phones. Now I ran our suite of benchmarks and the scores are nearly identical for Antutu and Geekbench. But what matters is sustained performance and to check if the phones heat up. And a 30-minute CPU throttle test clearly indicates that the Xiaomi 11T Pro does throttle way more than the OnePlus 9RT. The graph here doesn't look very good. Moreover, I ran the 3D Mark Wildlife stress test on both these phones, and every single time the 11T Pro would shut it down with this message. And you know what? The temperature peaked to 45 degrees about halfway into the test. The 9RT's improved vapor cooling solution ensures the phone didn't cross 43 degrees for the entire duration of the test. And I find this really surprising because the Mi 11 Ultra had a very well-tuned Snapdragon 888 performance as opposed to the Mi 11T Pro. I really hope Xiaomi fixes this soon. That said, in Call of Duty Mobile, both the phones offer max frame rates and max graphics and run buttery smooth throughout without any frame hiccups. The throttling will affect the 11T Pro only when you game continuously and stress the system on chip. For example, BGMI players who play for more than an hour at a stretch will definitely see some frame drops and some performance hiccups along the way. For a lot of folks watching this comparison, the buying decision will boil down to the camera performance of the 11T Pro compared to the 9RT. Let's dive in. Now, the 108 megapixel primary camera on the 11T Pro does capture more details in its 12 megapixel pixel bin sample. Now, if you look at the 100% crop of the building in this image, you will notice that the 11T Pro has managed to capture the finer texture on the walls, whereas the 9RT has glossed all over it. Also, Xiaomi's algorithm goes for an enhanced contrast, which ends up further accentuating the sharp lines with a thicker outline, therefore making details stand out even further. Now, as for the color reproduction, the 9RT tends to paint every image with a more colorful canvas than the 11T Pro. You can see the difference in the way the 9RT has reproduced the orange and the green here. The second sample just further augments my theory that the 9RT oversaturates to a very high degree, whereas the 11T Pro tries to underplay it. Honestly, both aren't very accurate representations of the scene, so some post-capture edit will be necessary. Now, when it comes to the high dynamic range captures, both the algorithms fail to do a good job. Now, while the 11T Pro's highlights are blown out, the 9RT cannot retrieve more details from the shadows. I believe Samsung and Vivo phones are better at high dynamic range. However, when it comes to macro photography, Xiaomi's 5 megapixel camera with 50mm lens telemacro setup is the shiz. I mean, the 9RT should just bow down to the master. Just look at the differences here. Now, while the 9RT has a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera and a 123-degree wider field of view, the 11T Pro's 8 megapixel camera offers a sharper focus with crisper details around the center. Every time I shot with the 9RT's ultra wide, I ended up with a soft focus. That said, the 9RT has a slightly better dynamic range performance. Moving on, I prefer the 11T Pro for shots of people. I noticed crisper textures on the face and the t-shirt, more dynamics on the face with a better facial tone, and a nicer natural bokeh owing to the larger sensor. Even in the previous comparison with the S21 FE, I wasn't very happy with the 9RT's extremely soft and flat image. Although in portrait shots, the 11T Pro messes up. You can see how the edge detection around the hair and the space between the hands is not very clearly outlined by the algorithm, and the drop-off happens much sooner. This is surprising because Xiaomi's algorithm is generally good with portraits. In low-light shots using the primary camera, the 108 megapixel camera on the 11T Pro is more sensitive to light by default. The image is brighter here compared to the 9RT. The 9RT does catch up with night mode on, but still the 11T Pro is better. The second sample only further proves that the 11T Pro is sharper in low light shots with night mode on. You can notice the finer details on the cushion and the ottoman in front of it. However, in low light shots using the ultra wide angle camera, the 9RT does offer slightly better details with night mode turned on. Now, both the phones offer 4K 60 FPS video recording. However, the capture bitrate is slightly higher on the 9RT, meaning you get larger file sizes and more details as well. But I couldn't really notice any difference in real life. Now, thanks to OIS, you won't notice any jerkiness while panning on the 9RT, which is visible on the 11T Pro. But the 11T Pro offers fantastic environmental noise cancellation, and therefore the sound recording is really good as well. In fact, you can control the mics to your preference within the camera app and use a wired earphone for live audio monitoring as well. Now, Xiaomi also offers 1080p 60 FPS video recording with EIS on the front camera. You know what, the 9RT doesn't offer EIS and tops out at 1080p 30 FPS. Plus, the sound recording, again, is way better on the 11T Pro. Do let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the image quality, the image stabilization and the sound recording. Do let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the image quality, the image stabilization and the sound recording. I'd easily pick the 11T Pro over the 9RT for recording videos using the front camera. Now, that's not it though. The 11T Pro also offers 8K 30 FPS video recording, which the 9RT does not. And it offers the capability to shoot HDR10 plus videos in 4K 60 FPS, no less, which further enhances the dynamic range performance of the video. Also, let's not forget the various movie modes and vlog mode. Now, these creative modes are absolutely fun to use. I quite like the final output and the fact that you can immediately share them to social media. And I completely agree with Xiaomi here. This is a good phone for video recording. To sum it up, our tests conclude that the 11T Pro has a better camera setup and a more versatile camera setup than the OnePlus 9RT. But this is only relative. If it were left to me, I wouldn't pick either of these two phones and I would go with either an iQOO, Vivo or a Samsung phone under Rs 40,000. But what do you think about that statement of mine? Do let me know in the comment section below. Moving on to the software, it doesn't bode well for either, OnePlus or Xiaomi that their 2022 flagship phones come with Android 11 out of the box. On the 11T Pro, you get MIUI 12.5.2 and it is feature rich as usual. Now, I'm not going into the details of it, but after a long time, I did face a few bugs. Firstly, the app drawer froze on me, but it happened only once and I'm not really concerned about it too much. Although, what was more annoying was during calls, the ambient light sensor didn't work properly. Now, this meant that during a 40-minute call with my mom the other day, she would go on and my phone would be on mute because my cheeks grazed against the mic icon. Why? Because the display didn't go off as the ambient light sensor doesn't work properly. See, it's not like Oxygen OS on the OnePlus 9RT doesn't have bugs, but it doesn't break the experience of using the phone this way. Now, regardless, if I had to choose between one of the two compromised experiences, I would probably go with Oxygen OS on the 9RT over MIUI on the 11T Pro. That said, the one thing that I'm not a fan of is the 11T Pro's design, and I feel that the 9RT is a better looking phone, but that's quite subjective. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, very importantly, the 11T Pro does offer IP53 rating, which the OnePlus 9T Pro does not. Any IP rating in this price range is a welcome addition. Furthermore, Xiaomi offers Gorilla Glass Victus on the 11T Pro as opposed to Gorilla Glass 5 on the 9RT. Plus, you get stereo speakers tuned by Harman Kardon, no less. That was present on the Mi 11 Ultra and now it's there on the Xiaomi 11T Pro. It's just leagues better than the 9RT. Listen to it for yourself. Also, I'd like to highlight that either phone doesn't offer USB 3.0 speeds on the Type-C port. And of course, OnePlus fans will highlight the fact that the 9RT has the alert slider, which I also absolutely love. By the way, the 11T Pro has a fingerprint scanner on the power button on the side, and the OnePlus 9RT has an optical in-display fingerprint scanner. Both work exceptionally well, no problems there. Now coming to the display, the 11T Pro coupled with the speaker has a nice and punchy 10-bit AMOLED display with support for Dolby Vision, and you get an unmatched multimedia experience. I noticed that the 11T Pro displays more realistic colors while playing back videos, including Dolby Vision on Netflix. However, in a 9% brightness window test, you can clearly see that our lux meter captures a higher lux level on the 9RT versus the 11T Pro. Now, this is a tiny difference which is not visible in daily usage, so practically it doesn't really matter much, but these tests are important for us to test out phones. Now, the 11T Pro does offer a slightly better default touch sampling rate of 480Hz over the 9RT's 300Hz TSR. While the difference does look big on paper, I really couldn't actually feel it in real life. Both are equally matched. Maybe because the OnePlus 9RT jumps to 600Hz when playing games. The 11T Pro's biggest advantage is its pricing. The base 128GB variant of the phone is 3,000 rupees cheaper than the OnePlus 9RT, even without discounts. And with bank discounts, the difference becomes a whopping 4,000 rupees, for which you get a better display, a better and more versatile set of cameras, fantastic speakers, and a slightly better battery life as well. But yes, if you want a phone that looks better and offers better gaming, and more importantly offers a far less buggy experience compared to MIUI on the 11T Pro, I think that the OnePlus 9RT is the one for you. Gamers, get this one. And considering the fact that I've told you guys about the 9RT's gaming prowess, we've done a very detailed gaming review on our Hindi channel. A link to it should pop up right now. Only if the cameras on both these phones could be way better. Now, while that was my full review of the Xiaomi 11T Pro compared against the OnePlus 9RT, my intuition tells me that the upcoming iQOO 9 series will actually be better. Well, let's wait and watch. Until then, this is Ashad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.